Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage. This is their part number C503-767. This is what is called a driver for an A-series hotel function cylinder. So this part doesn't come up in the product catalog or the price list. Doesn't come up in the product catalog or the service manual. It does in the price list. And what this is for a D series, an A series, or an ND series where you have an 85 function, which is generally called a hotel cylinder, but I think they have another term for it, restroom facility type cylinder. You'll know it though, because there's going to be a pin sticking out of the front of the cylinder plug. When you see that, it's basically a hotel cylinder. And the function of a hotel cylinder is the following. You can, and the term hotel, before we get to what it is, applies to the days before key card code access on hotels. Back a few, not too many decades ago, but it was all mechanical key. And before you had card readers, Locks by Onity and Kaba and so many other people. Certainly Schlage too, they make that stuff, but you won't see them in hospitality like you will the other two names. The hotel function, hotel term, is a bit generic. Back then it was known as hotel function, but those cylinders and their functionality still exist today, but they're not used in hotels. Where they're used in would be a great application, might be a business, that might be a auto mechanic, and they've got a bathroom and they don't want just anyone going into it, so the people that are authorized to go to that restroom have a key. Well, when a user unlocks the door and goes in, pushes the button on the inside, it renders the outside key operation inoperable until they exit, unlocking the door, and then leave, is the bottom line. In the locked function, only the emergency key will work. It's a different key. It operates differently. It can bypass the warding that's inside the cylinder that makes a hotel function, or by Schlage an 85 function, inherently what it is. These types of cylinders are also used in other applications. Sitting in locksmithing classes, a dark room, still a very dated sort of reference, may have a hotel cylinder. You don't want someone to come in and open the door, but there are modern examples of that as well that have to do with the same sort of, concept, is the bottom line. So any door that you want to be able to disable all of the operating keys from operating it, and only the emergency key can operate it, would be a hotel cylinder. Every manufacturer has their own platform of how those work. Schlage obviously does. And back in the hotel application days, you have a guest staying in the room. The door is locked. No one with a key can come in, except the manager of the hotel, who possesses certainly the top-level master key, and this emergency key can then enter through that lock, is the bottom line. This part, in the cylinder driver, this is going to allow the tailpiece to come through it and sit underneath the threaded cap. It requires a different design because of the hotel nature of what it is necessary because hotel platform cylinders are inherently different than other just standard non-hotel cylinders. So those cylinders will have different parts, and that's what this is for. This client ordered 40 of them, and in fact, I can see that this is going to a motel or a hotel. I did get an order from a client. The year is 2021 right now, early, and I did get an order from a client about a year ago where they were literally ordering mechanical locks for hotel room doors, and I says, wow, you might be the only one left with mechanical locks. They're like, yep, we probably are. But this location, getting these, doesn't look like an old hotel at all. I'm looking at them online. But whatever the application is, They clearly have some hotel locks, is just the bottom line. Who knows? Maybe they're keeping the past alive, and good for them. Let's switch to the screen view and let's just fill in some of the background information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. And here is what our item indeed looks like. Speaking of looks like, let's take a look at some images. That would be the bottom side, or the side facing the back of the cylinder plug, as is this. This can go in either vertically or horizontally to accommodate knob or lever locks, and is used in the D, ND, and the A series 85 functions. The spring and the pin will fill this area, and this would be a lever orientation here, with it vertical like that. This is what it would look like in a knob orientation. Probably like that is what it would likely look like. A little close-up view of it. And then the back side, actually the top side as well. Okay. Now, let's take a look. Not a lot to see on this page except those images. There's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page, and when we click on that, we're going to be able to pull up the Schlage landing page within our site, and from here you'll be able to view not only all of the Schlage products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, let's take a dive into the full product catalog and see what we can come up with. I'm going to take this part number and copy it. As we wait for that document to load. I'm also going to fire up the service manual that's at the top of the page as well. And then I will also load the price list. And let's see. Okay, the catalog is up. So I know that our C503 767 won't be listed in here, and I've done a find function on my keyboard. But let's do a find function for A85. Okay. So they're calling it faculty restroom. That would be a great application. Schools. All the teachers will have a key to get in the restroom, but students or other people are not permitted, obviously, to go in. So let's take a look at what that function of an A85 would be. Here it is. Outside knob is fixed. Entrance by key only. Push button on inside knob activates the visual occupancy indicator. We'll talk about the visual occupancy indicator in a moment, allowing only the emergency master key to arrive. The emergency master is not the master. It is an EMK, and would only operate in those areas. What I'm saying is your master key or your top master key is probably, it can be the emergency master key, but you might want to have different emergency master keys for different groups of these locks. Let's say you had, well, because we're talking about a school, let's say in your district you had 10 schools or 200 schools. You could have different emergency master keys for each of those 10 schools. Or maybe in that one school you've got, 3 floors. You might want different EMKs on all the floors. It can be anything that you want. But the point of the matter is the EMK would be possibly different than the top master key. So that's the function. Rotating of inside spanner button removes lockout feature by keeping indicator thrown. So they don't do a real good job of showing us that, but we'll dive deeper in a moment. Now, you'll know the hotel function because it has that indicator there. Okay? They're showing it here in a Primus cylinder. Now, let's take a look at the service manual. Now, I know that the C503 767 is not in here, but an A85 ought to be. So let's see if we can get a little more information on what an A85 looks like as we're waiting for that to index. This is over a 1,000-page document. I believe the A section may not be indexed. So let's scroll, because the A section is the first section in my document. Let's scroll to A85. There it is. Now they talk about that turning that spanner, and that part under 25 talks about that spanner. Now let's see what they call that, part 25. Plunger hole, plunger and button inside, 01063 with 3 asterisks. Specify finish and dimension. See page 19 to determine dimension. Okay, sure. So depending on the trim that you have, you're going to need to declare that with the door range dimension, 1 3/8 to 2.5. That's how that reads. So it gives you a little more background on that completely. Now the price list, which I had also opened, it'll have the C503 767 in here several times, in fact. And what they're saying is, for a Classic or an Everest or Everest 29, that is compatible in terms of what you would be using it with. This cylinder, not for orbit knobs in Classic or Everest Classic, is the way that that's reading. D85, same scenario. Now you'll note see if we can find it where it indicates more information. Modular cylinders. So if you're going to run, if you need this A301 337, you require that driver as well. For the A85 or H185, it's also the discontinued interconnected lock. The H series is an interconnected lock and is discontinued, which so is the D series, by the way. Very recently, probably in late 2020, they discontinued that. The AL85, didn't mention that earlier. That is now discontinued as well, or is about to be, end of the first quarter in 2021. They're just killing all my favorite locks. Driver for all hotel tailpieces. That's a pretty good description right there. Okay, and then in the index. So also on the manufacturer's page, I'll just simply point out that there is an Everest service manual here. There's a Primus service manual here. There is a warranty statement, wiring diagrams, templates, all kinds of stuff. If it's encyclopedic as it pertains to Schlage, this is the landing page. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So, if you're looking for parts for Schlage locks, something obscure like this, you don't sell this driver very often, but it's very likely that the lock that this is going into is several decades old, and those locks do require maintenance. This client also ordered the spacers that you need for an orbit knob, so it could be that we've got a bunch of A85 orbits out there and the client's doing service work too. There you go. It's really great that Schlage still makes this item, but I expect that they will, because as we talked about initially, the hotel function has other applications where, you know, it's now quite nostalgic to see a key for a hotel room with that diamond-shaped plastic identifier on a key ring. You know, the molded plastic indicating the name of the hotel, the unit number, color, the whole 9 yards, maybe a silhouette of the hotel. The old days. Any questions on this or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.